Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Shakira. Shakira Isabel Mebarak Ripple, known anonymously as Shakira, is a Colombian singer, songwriter, dancer and record producer. Born and raised in Barranquilla, she began performing in school, demonstrating Latin American, Arabic and rock and roll influences and belly dancing abilities. Shakira's first studio albums, Magia and Peligro, failed to attain commercial success in the 1990s. However, she rose to prominence in Latin America with her major label debut Pais Descalzos, and her fourth album Donde Están los Ladrones. Shakira entered the English-language market with her fifth album Laundry Service. Its lead single, Whenever Wherever, became one of the most successful singles of 2002. Her success was solidified with her sixth and seventh albums Fijación Oral Volumen 1 and Oral Fixation Volume 2, the latter of which spawned one of the best-selling songs of the 21st century, Hips Don't Lie, selling over 13 million only counting downloads. Shakira's eighth and ninth albums, She Wolf and Sale El Sol, received critical praise. Her official song for the 2010 FIFA World Cup, Waka Waka, became the biggest-selling World Cup song of all time with 10 million downloads. With over 1.5 billion views, it is one of the most-watched music videos on YouTube. Shakira served as a coach on the fourth and sixth seasons of the American version of The Voice in 2013 and 2014 respectively. Her 10th album, Shakira, is preceded by its lead single Can't Remember to Forget You. Shakira has received numerous awards, including 5 MTV Video Music Awards, 2 Grammy Awards, 13 Latin Grammy Awards, 7 Billboard Music Awards, 33 Billboard Latin Music Awards, and has been Golden Globe nominated. She has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and sold over 125 million records worldwide, with 25.4 million record sales in the United States, making her the best-selling South American singer and one of the best-selling artists of all time. She carries out well-known philanthropic activities through charity work, most notably through her Pais Descalzos Foundation. In 2011, she has been appointed by U.S. President Barack Obama to the President's Advisory Commission on Educational Excellence for Hispanics, a 4-person group that will give advice to the President and Education Secretary Ann Duncan. In 2014, she was listed as the 58th most powerful woman in the world by Forbes. Early life. Shakira Isabel Mebarak Ripple was born on 2 February 1977 in Barranquilla, Colombia. She is the only child of William Mebarak Chowdhury and Nydia Ripple Dorado. Her paternal grandparents emigrated from Lebanon to New York City, where her father was born. Her father then emigrated to Colombia at age 5. The name Shakira is Arabic, from which language it translates as grateful. It is the feminine form of the name Shakira. From her mother, she has Spanish and Italian ancestry. She was raised Catholic and attended Catholic schools. She has 8 older half-siblings from her father's previous marriage. Shakira spent much of her youth in Barranquilla, a city located on the northern Caribbean coast of Colombia, and wrote her first poem titled La Rosa de Cristal, the Crystal Rose, when she was only 4 years old. As she was growing up, she was fascinated watching her father writing stories on a typewriter and asked for one as a Christmas gift. She got that typewriter at the age of 7, and has continued writing poetry since then. These poems eventually evolved into songs. When Shakira was 2 years old, an older half-brother was killed in a motorcycle accident. 6 years later, at the age of 8, Shakira wrote her first song titled Tus Gafas Oscuras, Your Dark Glasses, which was inspired by her father, who for years wore dark glasses to hide his grief. When Shakira was 4, her father took her to a local Middle Eastern restaurant where Shakira first heard the dawmabek, a traditional drum used in Arabic music and which typically accompanied belly dancing. She started dancing on the table, and the experience made her realize that she wanted to be a performer. She enjoyed singing for schoolmates and teachers at her Catholic school. But in 2nd grade she was rejected for the school choir because her vibrato was too strong. The music teacher told her that she sounded like a goat. At school, she was often sent out of the class because of her hyperactivity. She says she had also been known as the belly dancer girl, as she would demonstrate every Friday at school a number she had learned. "That's how I discovered my passion for live performance," she says. To instill gratitude in Shakira for her upbringing, her father took her to a local park to see orphans who lived there. The images stayed with her, and she said to herself, "One day I'm going to help these kids when I become a famous artist." Between the ages of 10 and 13, Shakira was invited to various events in Barranquilla, and gained some recognition in the area. It was at this approximate time that she met local theater producer Monica Ariza, who was impressed with her and as a result tried to help her career. During a flight from Barranquilla to Bogotá, Ariza convinced Sony Colombia executive Ciro Vargas to hold an audition for Shakira in a hotel lobby. Vargas held Shakira in high regard, and returning to the Sony office, gave the cassette to a song and artist director. However, the director was not overly excited, and thought Shakira was something of a lost cause. Undaunted, and still convinced that Shakira had talent, Vargas set up an audition in Bogotá. He arranged for Sony Colombia executives to arrive at the audition with the idea of surprising them with Shakira's performance. She performed 3 songs for the executives and impressed them enough for her to be signed to record 3 albums. 1990–1995 Beginnings. Shakira's debut album Magia was recorded with Sony Music Colombia in 1990, when she was only 13 years old. The songs are a collection made by her since she was 8. Mixed pop-rock ballads and disco up-tempo songs with electronic accompaniment. However, it was hampered by a lack of cohesion in both its recording and the production. The album was released in June 1991 and featured Magia and 3 other singles. Though it fared well on Colombian radio and gave the young Shakira much exposure, the album did not fare well commercially, as only 1,200 copies were sold worldwide. After the poor performance of Magia, Shakira's label urged her to return to the studio to release a follow-up record. Though then little known outside of her native Colombia, Shakira was invited to perform at Chile's Vina del Mar International Song Festival in February 1993. The festival gave aspiring Latin American singers a chance to perform their songs, and the winner was then chosen by a panel of judges. Shakira performed the ballad Eris, and won the trophy for 3rd place. One of the judges who voted for her to win was the then 20-year-old Ricky Martin, whose initial prominence had come from his membership in Menudo. Shakira's 2nd studio album, titled Peligro, was released in March. But Shakira was not pleased with the final result, mainly taking issue with the production. The album was better received than Magia had been, though it was also considered a commercial failure due to Shakira's refusal to advertise or promote it. Shakira then decided to take a hiatus from recording so that she could graduate from high school. In the same year, Shakira starred in the Colombian TV series The Oasis, loosely based on the Armero tragedy in 1985. Since then, the albums have been pulled from release, and are not considered official Shakira albums but rather promotional albums. Shakira originally recorded the song Donde Estás Corazón for the compilation album Nuestro Rock in 1995, released exclusively in Colombia. The album Pies Descalzos brought her great popularity in Latin America by the hit singles Estoy aquí, Pies Descalzos, Sueños Blancos and Donde Estás Corazón. Shakira also recorded 3 tracks in Portuguese titled Estou aqui Pouco de Ama and Pies Descalzos. 1995–2000 Latin breakthrough. Shakira returned to recording music under Sony Music along with Colombia in 1995 with Luis F. Ochoa, using musical influences from a number of countries, and an Alanis Morissette-oriented persona which affected 2 of her next albums. These recordings spawned her 3rd studio album and her major label debut titled Pies Descalzos. Recording for the album began in February 1995 after the success of her single Donde Estás Corazón. Sony gave Shakira $100,000 to produce the album, since they predicted that the album would not sell past 100,000 copies. The album Pies Descalzos was released in February 1996. It debuted at number 1 in 8 different countries. However, it only managed to reach number 180 on the US Billboard 200. But reached number 5 on the US Billboard Top Latin Albums chart. The album spawned 6 hit singles: Estoy aquí, which reached number 2 on the US Latin chart; Donde Estás Corazón, which reached number 5 on the US Latin chart; Pies Descalzos, Sueños Blancos, which reached number 11 on the US Latin chart; Un Poco de Ama, which reached number 6 on the US Latin chart; Antología, which reached number 15 on the US Latin chart; and Che Mata, which reached number 8 on the US Latin chart. In August 1996, RIAA certified the album platinum status. In March 1996, Shakira went on to her first international tour, named simply the Tour Pies Descalzos. The tour consisted of 20 shows and ended in 1997. Also in that year, Shakira received 3 Billboard Latin Music Awards for Album of the Year for Pies Descalzos, Video of the Year for Estoy aquí, and Best New Artist. Pies Descalzos later sold over 5 million copies, prompting the release of a remix album simply titled The Remixes. The remixes also included Portuguese versions of some of her well-known songs, which were recorded as a result of her success in the Brazilian market, where Pies Descalzos sold nearly 1 million copies. Her 4th studio album was titled Donde Están los Ladrones. This, produced entirely by Shakira herself and Emilio Estefan Jr. as the executive producer, was released in September 1998. The album, inspired by an incident in an airport in which a suitcase filled with her written lyrics was stolen, became a bigger hit than Pies Descalzos. The album has reached a peak position of number 131 on the US Billboard 200, and held the top spot on the US Latin Albums chart for 11 weeks. It has since sold over 10 million copies worldwide and 1.5 million copies in the US alone, making it one of the best-selling Spanish albums in the US. 8 singles were taken from the album, including Ciegas Sordomudas en la Casa and No Creo, which became her first single to chart on the US Billboard Hot 100. Inevitable 2. Si vas octavo dia and the Ojos ASI. The latter 2 songs won Shakira 1 Latin Grammy each, with 6 of the 8 singles reaching the top 40 on the US Latin chart. Shakira also received her first Grammy Award nomination in 1999 for Best Latin Rock Alternative Album. Shakira's first live album, MTV Unplugged was recorded in New York City on the 12th of August 1999. Highly acclaimed by American critics, it is rated as one of her best-ever live performances. The live album earned the Grammy Award for Best Latin Pop Album in 2001, and gained sales of 5 million worldwide. In March 2000, Shakira embarked on her tour Amphibio, a 2-month tour of Latin America and the United States. In August 2000, she won an MTV Video Music Award in the category of People's Choice Favorite International Artist for Ojos ASI. In September 2000, Shakira performed Ojos ASI at the inaugural ceremony of the Latin Grammy Awards, where she was nominated in 5 categories: Album of the Year and Best Pop Vocal Album. For MTV Unplugged, Best Female Rock Vocal Performance for Octavo Dia, Best Female Pop Vocal Performance, and Best Short-Form Music Video for the video for Ojos ASI. She won 2 Grammy Awards. As of 2001, Shakira has sold more than 10 million copies of album in Latin America alone. 2001-2004, English transition with laundry service. Upon the success of Donde Están los Ladrones and MTV Unplugged, Shakira began working on an English crossover album. She worked for over a year on new material for the album, Whenever Wherever, called Suerte in Spanish-speaking countries, was released as the first and lead single from her first English album, and 5th studio album throughout the period between August 2001 and February 2002. The song took heavy influence from Andean music, including the charango and panpipes in its instrumentation. It became an international success by reaching number 1 in most countries. It was also her first success in the US, by reaching number 6 on the Hot 100. In 2003, Shakira wrote a song called Come Down Love with Tim Mitchell for the Hollywood movie The Italian Job, starring South African actress Charlize Theron and Mark Wahlberg, but the song was not included on the soundtrack of the movie. Shakira's 5th studio album and first English-language album, titled Laundry Service in English-speaking countries and Servicio de Lavandería in Latin America and Spain, was released on 13 November 2001. The album debuted at number 3 on the U.S. Billboard's 200 chart, selling over 200,000 records in its first week. The album was later certified triple platinum by the RIAA in June 2004 as well. It helped to establish Shakira's musical presence in the mainstream North American market. 7 singles were taken from the album, such as Whenever Wherever, Suerte, Underneath Your Clothes, Objection, Te Aviso, Te Anuncio, The One, Te Dejo Madrid, Que Me Quedes 2, and Poem to a Horse. Because the album was created for the English-language market, the rock and Spanish dance-influenced album gained mild critical success, with some critics claiming that her English skills were too weak for her to write songs for it. Rolling Stone, for one, stated that she sounds downright silly, or Shakira's magic is lost in translation. A similar view was expressed by Elizabeth Mendez-Berry in Vibe, while her Spanish-language albums sparkled with elegant wordplay. This record is rife with clichés, both musically and lyrically, for Anglophone Latin lovers. Shakira's lyrics are best left to the imagination. Shakira was also criticized by some of her Latin fans for seemingly abandoning her folk and rock roots in favor of contemporary American pop music. Despite this fact, the album became the best-selling album 2002, selling more than 20 million copies worldwide, and became the most successful album of her career to date. The album earned her the title as the biggest Latin female crossover artist in the world. Around this time, Shakira also released 4 songs for Pepsi. For her promotion in the English markets, Ask for More, P. de Mas, Knock on My Door, and Piddy Mel Sol. In 2002 at Aerosmith's MTV Icon in April 2002, Shakira performed Dude. She also joined Cher, Whitney Houston, Celine Dion, Mary J. Blige, Anastasia and the Dixie Chicks for VH1 Divas Live Las Vegas. In September she won the International Viewers' Choice Award at the MTV Video Music Awards with Whenever Wherever. She also won the Latin Grammy Award for the category of Best Short-Form Music Video for the Spanish version of the video. In October, she won 5 MTV Video Music Awards Latin America for Best Female Artist, Best Pop Artist, Best Artist North Video of the Year and Artist of the Year. In November, she embarked on the Tour of the Mongoose with 61 shows occurring by May 2003. The tour was also her first worldwide tour as legs were played in North America, South America, Europe and Asia. Shakira's label Sony BMG also released her Spanish Greatest Hits compilation, Grande Éxitos. A DVD and 10-track live album titled Live was also released in 2004, reaching sales of 3 million worldwide and commemorating the Tour of the Mongoose. 2005-2007, Fijación Oral Volumen 1 and Oral Fixation Volume 2. Shakira's sixth studio album Fijación Oral Volumen 1 was released in June 2005. The lead single from the album La Tortura reached the top 40 on the Hot 100. The song also featured the Spanish balladeer Alejandro Sanz. Shakira became the first artist to perform a Spanish-language song at the MTV Video Music Awards in 2005. Contrary to low expectations, the album was extremely well received. It debuted at number 4 on the Billboard 200 chart, selling 157,000 copies in its first week. It has since sold over 2 million copies in the US, earning an 11 times platinum certification from the RIAA. Due to its first week sales, the album became the highest debut ever for a Spanish-language album. After only a day of release in Latin America, the album earned certifications. In Venezuela it earned a platinum certification, in Colombia a triple platinum certification, while in Mexico demand exceeded shipments, and the album was unavailable after only one day of release. The album sold over 1 million copies in 3 days worldwide. 4 other singles were also released from the album: No Dia de Enero, La Ped and Las de la Intuición, with each single reaching number 1 in countries worldwide. Fijación Oral Volume 1 has since sold over 4 million copies worldwide. On the 8th of February 2006, Shakira won her second Grammy Award with the win of Best Latin Rock Alternative Album for Fijación Oral Volume 1. She received 4 Latin Grammy Awards in November 2006, winning the awards for Record of the Year, Song of the Year for La Tortura, Album of the Year and Best Pop Vocal Album for Fijación Oral Volume 1. The lead single for Shakira's 7th album, Oral Fixation Volume 2, Don't Bother, failed to achieve chart success in the US by missing the top 40 on the Hot 100. It did, however, reach the top 20 in most countries worldwide. Shakira's second English studio album and 7th studio album, Oral Fixation Volume 2, was released on the 29th of November 2005. The album debuted at number 5 on the Billboard 200, selling 128,000 copies in its first week. The album has gone on to sell 1.8 million records in the US and over 8 million copies worldwide. Despite the commercial failure of the album's lead single in the US, it went on to spawn 2 more singles. Hips Don't Lie, which featured Wyclef Jean, was released as the album's second single in February 2006. The song went on to become the highest-selling single of the 21st century, and became Shakira's first #1 single on the Billboard Hot 100 in addition to reaching #1 in over 55 countries. Shakira and Wyclef Jean also recorded a bamboo version of the song to serve as the official theme of the FIFA World Cup 2006. Shakira later released the third and final single from the album Illegal, which featured Carlos Santana, in November 2006. She then embarked on the oral Fixation tour, which began in June 2006. The tour consisted of 125 shows between June 2006 and July 2007 and visited 6 continents. In February 2007, Shakira performed for the first time at the 49th Grammy Awards and earned a nomination for Best Pop Collaboration with Vocals for Hips Don't Lie with Wyclef Jean. In late 2006, Shakira and Alejandro Sanz collaborated for the duet Te lo agradezco pero no, which is featured on Sanz's album El Tren de los Momentos. The song was a top 10 hit in Latin America and topped the Billboard Hot Latin Tracks chart. Shakira also collaborated with Miguel Bosé on the duet Si Tu no vuelves, which was released in Bosé album Pepito. In early 2007, Shakira worked with American R, which was released as the second single from the deluxe edition of Beyoncé album B-Day. In April 2007, the single jumped 91 positions from 94 to 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, setting the record for the largest upward movement in the history of the chart at the time. It was also #1 on the official UK singles chart. The song earned them a Grammy Award nomination for Best Pop Collaboration with Vocals. Shakira was also featured on Annie Lennox's song Sing from the album Songs of Mass Destruction, which also features 23 other female singers. In late 2007, Shakira and Wyclef Jean recorded their second duet, King and Queen. The song was featured on Wyclef Jean's 2007 album Carnival Volume 2, Memoirs of an Immigrant. Shakira wrote the lyrics and jointly composed the music for 2 new songs that are featured in the movie Love in the Time of Cholera, based on the acclaimed novel written by Colombian author Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Garcia Marquez himself asked Shakira to write the songs. The songs that Shakira lent to the soundtrack were Pienso en Tu, song from Shakira's breakthrough album Pies Descalzos, Hey Amores, and Despedida. Despedida was nominated for Best Original Song at the 65th Golden Globe Awards. 2008-2010, She-Wolf. In early 2008, Forbes named Shakira the 4th top-earning female artist in music industry. Then, in July of that year, Shakira signed a $300 million contract with Live Nation, an international touring giant, which contract was to remain in effect for 10 years. The touring group also doubles as a record label, which promotes but does not control the music its artists release. Shakira's contract with Epic Records called for 3 more albums as well, 1 in English, 1 in Spanish, and a compilation, but the touring and other rights of the Live Nation deal were confirmed to begin immediately. In January 2009, Shakira performed at the Lincoln Memorial Year One festivities in honor of the inauguration of President Barack Obama. She performed Higher Ground with Stevie Wonder and Usher. She-Wolf was released in October 2009 internationally, and on the 23rd of November 2009 in the US. The album received mainly positive reviews from critics, and was included in AllMusic's year-end favorite albums, favorite Latin albums, and favorite pop albums lists. She-Wolf reached #1 on the charts of Argentina, Ireland, Italy, Mexico, and Switzerland. It also charted inside the top 5 in Spain, Germany, and the United Kingdom. It debuted at number 15 on the Billboard 200. She-Wolf was certified double platinum in Colombia and Mexico, platinum in Italy and Spain, and gold in numerous countries including France and the United Kingdom. To date, the album has sold 2 million copies worldwide, becoming one of Shakira's least successful studio album to date in terms of sales. In May, Shakira collaborated with the South African group Freshly Ground to create the official song of the 2010 FIFA World Cup in South Africa, Waka Waka, which is based on a traditional Cameroonian soldier's fang song titled Zangalewa by the group Zangalewa Golden Sounds. The single later reached the top 20 in Europe, South America and Africa, and the top 40 in the US, and was performed by Shakira at the World Cup kickoff and closing. It became the biggest-selling World Cup song of all time. 2010-2015, Sol and Shakira. In October 2010, Shakira released her 9th studio album titled Sol. The album received critical acclaim and was included in AllMusic's favorite albums of 2010 and favorite Latin albums of 2010 year-end lists. At the 2011 Latin Grammy Awards ceremony, Sol was nominated for Album of the Year and Best Female Pop Vocal Album, winning the award in the latter category. Commercially, the album was a success throughout Europe and Latin America. Sol peaked atop the charts of countries Belgium, Croatia, France, Mexico, Portugal and Spain. In the United States, it debuted at number 7 on the US Billboard 200 chart, marking the highest debut for a Latin album for the year, and was Shakira's 5th album to peak at number 1. According to Billboard, 35% of its first-week sales were credited to strong digital sales. The album also peaked at number 1 on both the top Latin albums and Latin pop albums charts, achieving strong digital sales in the region. The lead single, Loca, was number 1 in many countries. The album had sold over 1 million copies worldwide in 6 weeks, and over 4 million since its release. In September, Shakira embarked on the Sun Comes Out World Tour in support of her 2 most recent albums. The tour visited countries in North America, Europe, South America, Asia and Africa, with 107 shows in all. The tour was met with positive reactions from critics, who praised Shakira's stage presence and energy during her performances. On the 9th of November 2011, Shakira was honored as Latin Recording Academy Person of the Year, and performed a cover of Joe Arroyo's song En Barranquilla Me Quedo at the Mandalay Bay Events Center as a tribute to the singer who had died earlier that year. In 2010, Shakira collaborated with rapper Pitbull for the song Get It Started, which was slated to be the lead single from Pitbull's upcoming album Global Warming. The single was released on the 28th of June 2012. She was also signed to Roc Nation under management purposes for her upcoming studio album. On the 17th of September 2012, it was announced that Shakira and Usher would replace Christina Aguilera and CeeLo Green for the 4th season of the US TV show The Voice alongside Adam Levine and Blake Shelton. Shakira announced that she would focus on her new album in the fall and eventually returned for the show's 6th season in February 2014. Shakira originally planned to release her new album in 2012, but due to her pregnancy, plans to release the single and video were postponed. In December 2013, it was announced that Shakira's new single had been delayed until January 2014. Shakira's self-titled 10th studio album was later released on the 25th of March 2014. Upon release, Shakira was met with positive reviews commercially. The album debuted at number 2 on the US Billboard 200 chart with first-week sales of 85,000 copies. By doing so, Shakira became the singer's highest-charting album on the chart, although it also achieved her lowest first-week sales figure. The album spawned 3 singles. After release, the first 2 singles from the album, Can't Remember to Forget You and Empire, RCHO's Era's third single. The World Cup version was officially released on the 27th of May. 2 Impact radio stations features Brazilian musician Carlin Haas Brown. On the 13th of July 2014, Shakira performed La 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 with Brazilian musician Carlin Haas Brown at the 2014 FIFA World Cup closing ceremony at the Maracanã Stadium. This performance became her 3rd consecutive appearance at the FIFA World Cup. 2016 present, El Dorado. Shakira began work on her 11th studio album in the beginning of 2016. In May 2016, she collaborated with Colombian singer Carlos Vives on the track La Bicicleta. On the 28th of October 2016, Shakira released the single Chantaje with Colombian singer Maluma, though the song was a track from Shakira's upcoming 11th studio album, it was not intended to be the lead single. On the 7th of April 2017, Shakira released the song Mi Enamoré as the second official single taken from her 11th studio album El Dorado, which was released on the 26th of May 2017. Artistry. When asked about her artistry, Shakira stated, "My music, I think, is a fusion of many different elements. And I'm always experimenting, so I try not to limit myself, or put myself in a category, or be the architect of my own jail." Shakira has frequently stated she is inspired by Oriental music and Indian music, which influenced many of her earlier works. She has also been influenced by her Arabian heritage, which was a major inspiration for her breakthrough world hit O José Si. She told Portuguese TV, "Many of my movements belong to Arab culture." She also cites her parents as having been major contributors to her musical style. She is also strongly influenced by Andean music and South American folk music, using her native instrumentation for her Latin dance pop songs. Her earlier Spanish albums, including Pais Descalzos and Donde Están los Ladrones, were a mix of folk music and Latin rock. Her crossover English album Laundry Service and later albums were influenced by pop rock and pop Latino. Laundry Service is primarily a pop rock album but also draws influences from a variety of musical genres. The singer credited this to her mixed ethnicity, saying, "I am a fusion. That's my persona. I'm a fusion between black and white, between pop and rock, between cultures, between my Lebanese father and my mother's Spanish blood, the Colombian folklore and Arab dance I love, and American music. The Arabian and Middle Eastern elements that exerted a high influence on Donde Están los Ladrones are also present in Laundry Service, most prominently on Eyes Like Yours, O José Si. Musical styles from different South American countries surface on the album. Tango, a style of fast-paced ballroom dance that originated in Argentina, is evident on Objection, which also combines elements of rock and roll. The up-tempo track features a guitar solo and a bridge in which Shakira delivers rap-like vocals. She Wolf is primarily an electro-pop album that combines influences from the musical styles of various countries and regions like Africa, Colombia, India, and the Middle East. Shakira termed the album as a sonic experimental trip, and said that she researched folk music from different countries in order to combine electronics with world sounds, tambourines, clarinets, Oriental and Hindu music, dancehall, etc. Her 2010 album, Sol el Sol, is a return to her beginnings, containing ballads, rock songs, and Latin dance songs like Loca. Shakira stated that John Lennon was her #1 and biggest music influence. As a child, Shakira was influenced by rock music, listening heavily to rock bands like Led Zeppelin, The Beatles, Nirvana, The Police and U2, while her other influences included Gloria Estefan, Madonna, Sheryl Crow, Alanis Morissette, Marc Anthony, Meredith Brooks and The Cure. Shakira is well known for her dancing in various music videos and in concert. Her moves are based on the art of belly dancing, a part of her Lebanese heritage. She often performs barefoot. Shakira says she learned this form of dance as a young teen to overcome her shyness. She also mentioned in a MTV interview that she learned how to belly dance by trying to flip a coin with her belly. Achievements. Shakira has received numerous awards and recognition for her work. According to Sony, Shakira is the highest-selling Colombian artist of all time, having sold between 50 and 60 million records. According to Yahoo, her single Hips Don't Lie is the best-selling single of the last decade. Nielsen Broadcast Data Systems said that Hips Don't Lie was the most played pop song in a single week in American radio history. It was played 9,637 times in 1 week. Shakira became the first artist in the history of the Billboard charts to earn the coveted #1 spots on both the top 40 mainstream and Latin chart in the same week, doing so with Hips Don't Lie. Additionally, she is the only artist from South America to reach the #1 spot on the US Billboard Hot 100, the Australian ARIA chart and the UK Singles Chart. Her song La Tortura at one time held the record for Billboard's Hot Latin Tracks chart, appearing at #1 more than any other single, with a total of 25 non-consecutive weeks, a record currently held by the Enrique Iglesias song Bailando with 41 weeks. Nokia stated in 2010 that there were more Shakira music downloads in the prior year than for any other Latino artist in the last 5 years, and she wolf-topped the top 10 Latino downloads. In 2010, she was ranked #5 on the Online Video's Most Viral Artists of 2010, with 404,118,932 views. She has become a YouTube sensation, having surpassed 1 billion views on the website, with Waka Waka accounting for over 1.2 billion views, and her channel is currently the 35th most subscribed on YouTube. In 2011, Shakira was honored at the Latin Grammys as 2011's Latin Recording Academy Person of the Year. She also received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, located at 6270 Hollywood Boulevard. Originally, she was to be given a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2004, but she turned the offer down. In 2012, she received the honor of Chevalier de l'Ordre des Arts et des Lettres. In 2014, Shakira became the first musical act to perform 3 times at the FIFA World Cup. Other ventures. Shakira has ventured into many other businesses and industries. She appeared in the Colombian telenovela El Oasis in 1994, playing the character of Luisa Maria. Shakira began her own beauty line, S by Shakira, with parent company Puig in 2010. Among the first perfumes it released included S by Shakira and S by Shakira Eau Floral, along with lotions and body sprays. In 2012, she released a new fragrance called Elixir by Shakira, which was also available in the forms of Paradise Elixir and Wild Elixir. In 2014, she released a new perfume, Rock by Shakira. As of 2017, she has released 19 perfumes, not counting deluxe editions. In the 17th of September 2015, she was featured as a playable bird in the game Angry Birds Pop! For a limited time, and also in a special tournament in the game Angry Birds Friends after a few weeks. In the 15th of October 2015, Love Rock starring Shakira was the first video game that featured the pop star. On 14 August 2015 at Disney's D23 Expo, it was announced that Shakira would play a character in the Disney animated movie Zootopia. In it, she would give voice to Gazelle, the biggest pop star in Zootopia. Shakira also contributed an original song to the film titled Try Everything, which was written and composed by Sia and Stargate. The film received universal critical acclaim, with praise directed toward its animation, voice cast, characters, humor, screenplay, and themes about discrimination and social stereotypes. It opened to a record-breaking box office success in several countries and earned a worldwide gross of over $1 billion, making it the fourth highest-grossing film of 2016. And the 27th highest-grossing film of all time. The film was chosen by the American Film Institute as one of the top 10 films of 2016. Activism. In 1997, Shakira founded the Pies Descalzos Foundation, a Colombian charity with special schools for poor children all around Colombia. It was funded by Shakira and other international groups and individuals. The name of the foundation was taken from Shakira's third studio album, Pies Descalzos, which she released in 1995. The foundation's main focus is on aid through education, and the organization has 5 schools across Colombia that provide education and meals for 4,000 children. On 27 April 2014, Shakira was honored with a Hero Award at the Radio Disney Music Awards for her Fundación Pies Descalzos work. Shakira is a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador and is one of their global representatives. On 3 April 2006, Shakira was honored at a UN ceremony for creating the Pies Descalzos Foundation. In March 2010, she was awarded a medal by the UN International Labour Organization in recognition of being, as UN Labour Chief Juan Samavia put it, a true ambassador for children and young people, for quality education and social justice. In November 2010, after performing as the opening act of the MTV European Music Awards, the Colombian singer also received the MTV Free Your Mind Award for her continuing dedication to improve access to education for all children around the world. In February 2011, the FC Barcelona Foundation and Pies Descalzos reached an agreement for children's education through sport. Shakira was honored at the Latin Grammys as the Latin Recording Academy Person of the Year on 9 November 2011 for her philanthropy and contributions to Latin music. Personal life. Shakira began a relationship with Argentine lawyer Antonio de la Rua in 2000. In a 2009 interview, Shakira stated their relationship already worked as a married couple and that they don't need papers for that. After 11 years together, Shakira and de la Rua separated in August 2010 in what she described as a mutual decision to take time apart from our romantic relationship. She wrote that the couple view this period of separation as temporary, with de la Rua overseeing Shakira's business and career interests as he has always done. As first reported in September 2012, de la Rua sued Shakira in April 2013 asking for $100 million he believed he was owed after Shakira suddenly terminated her business partnership with him in October 2011. His lawsuit was dismissed by a Los Angeles County Superior Court judge in August 2013. Shakira entered a relationship with the Spanish football player Gerard Piqué, centre-back for FC Barcelona and the Spanish national team in 2011. They first met in the spring of 2010, when Piqué appeared in the music video for Shakira's song Waka Waka, the official song of the 2010 FIFA World Cup. Shakira gave birth to the couple's first son, Milan Piqué Mebarak, on the 22nd of January 2013 in Barcelona, Spain, where the family had taken up residence. Shakira gave birth to their second son, Sasha Piqué Mebarak, on the 29th of January 2015. Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Would you like to know more?